Less than 48 hours away from King Charles being officially proclaimed as our monarch, the first coronation of my lifetime and most people's lifetimes. The new King and Queen have been leading other senior royals in rehearsals for a global spectacle. It's been 70 years in the waiting. But is King Charles the monarch to meet a difficult moment for the monarchy? A Savanta poll out today says just 14% of Brits think he'll do a better job than his late mother. And to be honest, I'm surprised it's even that high because she was a unparalleled monarch, the greatest of all time in my view. Well, joining me to discuss this, the royal biographer Andrew Morton, and shortly speaking to the explorer and close friend of the King, Sir Ranulph Fiennes as well. So Andrew, well, great to see you.
Hi.
Can't think of a better man to put all this into perspective. It's an incredible, it's like following Alex Ferguson at Manchester United or Sinatra at the Sands, isn't it, for poor Charles? He waited all this time. And of course, the longer his mother went on, the greater her reputation and legacy became, until the point where she is now acknowledged as the greatest monarch in history.
Yes, and yeah, indeed, and the twilight of her reign, I think, was the finest part of her reign. The speech she made,
speeching the COVID pandemic,
"We'll meet again" speech, still brings tears to my eyes.
Yes, I agree.
Now. And I think, and she showed a real side to herself that she'd never shown before. So ironically, when she passed, she was at her popularity was at its zenith. But quite frankly, I mean, you know, we've all seen King Charles over the years, and we've seen his development from a little boy at the last coronation to today. So he's had enough training.
Well, he's had the greatest apprenticeship in history.
Yeah, the big difference between the Queen's coronation and this one is that when Elizabeth was crowned in 1953, people talked about a new Elizabethan age.
Yes.
It was a step change and so on. This is just business as usual. It's people in their 70s getting married. I mean, you know, when Elizabeth became Queen, Churchill was in tears because he thought, you know, she couldn't cope with the job. Of course, King Charles can, because he knows all the people, knows all the people in Europe, all the people, you know, all the politicians in Britain.
You, as we know, had a very close relationship with Princess Diana. You wrote that extraordinary book. What would she have made of this, do you think? Because she said that famously in the panorama, I'm not sure he'd be up for the top job or even wanted the top job.
Well, you know, she said to me right from the start with one of the early interviews that she would never become Queen, but she'd have a rough road, and that she didn't think that he would ever become king. And what she wanted was to see Charles go off to Tuscany with what she called then his lady, and leave her to look after the shop, as it were, with Prince William and guide him to the throne. So skip a generation. So she's the one who started that debate off, which has kind of resonated down through the decades.
How would she have felt if she was still alive at seeing Camilla get crowned Queen?
Well, the 1997 version of Diana, before she passed, would have been furious for the simple reason that, you know, in her conversations with the Queen said, "Oh, Charles will never marry Camilla." Of course, she got that wrong as well. So in those days, she would have been absolutely mortified. But 25 years on, you would hope that she's found a new love, a new life, a new purpose in life.
And some peace, perhaps.
And I was intrigued looking at the guest list that Andrew Parker Bowles is going to be in the congregation, and I thought to myself, now that's a shrewd move. That's an amicable divorce. Diana.
I wonder if Diana would have been there.
She wouldn't have been there. No, she'd have been somewhere else. She'd have been abroad.
Yeah.
Presumably, you know, visiting a hospital. Duke of Windsor, he wasn't invited.
Yeah.
He went to Paris, sat and did a running commentary from the TV screen in front of his friends.